Hi all, Craig Cook here with Acre Mortgage. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we discuss various mortgage topics. In today's video, we're going to discuss the VA home loan. So let's get right into it. So what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to introduce myself, go over the basics of what a VA loan is, what are some eligibility requirements, the key benefits to a VA loan, what are your loan limits? What are you able to borrow? Some tips for success. And then we're going to wrap up this short video. And I want to try to keep this under 10 minutes and quickly give you some information. So let's talk about myself. I'm a branch manager for the Brunt Cook Group at Acre Mortgage and Financial. I've been operating my own branch with my business partner, Brad, for about the last 6 years. I have almost 20 years of experience in the mortgage business. I've been with the same company for just as long, so it's a really long time. As soon as I got out of college, I immediately got into the mortgage business, and I've been with that same company for a very long time. I'm an expert in all residential mortgages, including VA, so that's FHA, conventional, USDA, other related products that are helpful for people to buy homes. If you'd like to get some information from some of our previous clients, you could check out our reviews on Google. You could just Google search the Brunt Cook Group in Voorhees, New Jersey for mortgage lending. You should be able to, get some feedback on whether we're the right fit for you as a mortgage company. So let's get right into it. What is a VA loan? A VA loan is guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. It's designed to help eligible service members such as veterans and certain surviving spouses. Could also be in the National Guard. VA loans are offered by banks and not the VA. So a lot of times people get that confused that the VA is the one offering the money when in fact the VA is protecting the bank. So the VA guarantees a portion of the loan in case of a default, which lowers the lender's risk, right? So if for some reason a veteran or somebody that has a VA loan defaults on that loan, the VA is going to say, hey, I'm going to guarantee 25% of this particular loan so that it helps the lender's expenses in trying to sell that property if a foreclosure were to happen. So, and that's important to know just because VA is not a lender, and even though VA has a set of rules, banks have their own set of rules. Who's eligible for a VA loan? So active duty members can be eligible, veterans, and certain surviving spouses that may not be a veteran but may have lost somebody in active duty that was your spouse. You must have a certificate of eligibility. That's a requirement. It's pretty easy nowadays to determine whether you're eligible. We, a lot of times, do this for our clients where we can go online. We have access to a VA portal, which allows us to put in some basic information of the veteran or the borrower who's looking for a VA loan and immediately download a copy of the certificate of eligibility. In certain cases, you must meet time frame requirements for services. Like if you're an active duty member, you have a certain period of time where it might not be the same for somebody that was non-wartime veteran and served 4 years of service honorably discharged. That's another requirement that you have to be honorably discharged. A lot of these requirements are already dealt with in a sense on the VA level. So if you're able to download a certificate of eligibility, you're eligible and you meet those certain time frame requirements. Must meet credit and income standards for a VA loan. Most loans have certain income and credit standards. VA is no different. And most of these credit and income standards are very similar to other types of mortgages. They're going to look at your credit. They're going to look at your employment history, your income. If you own real estate, they're going to look at that. They're going to look at your liabilities. So most of these things that are looked at for every loan type. And keep in mind that VA has a handbook, right, a set of rules that you have to follow, but so do banks. So some rules that VA have may not be lining up with your bank and what they're able to do for you. So not every bank offers loans according directly to the VA handbook. They might have some additional rules. So make sure you check out with your lender if something specific you have a question about that might meet VA but might not meet another bank's standards. What are some of the key benefits to doing this loan? There is no down payment requirement, right? This is awesome because there's not a lot of loans out there that offer 100% financing, right? If you're looking to buy a $300,000 house, you could borrow up to $300,000, right? So very good, important because FHA requires 3.5% down. Conventional, you could do as low as 3% down. The only other loan that's equivalent as far as no down payment would be USDA. Lower rates. Most of the time, VA loan rates are better than all the other loan products, including USDA, FHA, conventional. All the loan products that are available, typically VA stands out above the rest. So they're lower than most of the other traditional mortgages. And the most important benefit to this loan is there's no MI or PMI. And you might not be familiar of what this is. Mortgage insurance is a fee that you pay to a bank, and that protects the bank. That insurance protects the bank in case of a default. Remember how we were talking about in the earlier slide that the VA guarantees lenders a certain portion of that loan in case there's a default? Well, MI acts the same way, except with VA, they don't require you to have MI, right? FHA requires you to have mortgage insurance. Conventional, without putting 20% down, you're going to have mortgage insurance. USDA has something similar to VA, which is they have their insurance component. They have an upfront fee, and they also have a monthly component that acts like mortgage insurance. So all these different MIs that are required to help the bank in case of a default are not required on a VA loan. What are the loan limits? So how is that determined, and what are you able to borrow up to? Loan limits are determined by entitlement for VA borrowers. So anybody that's eligible for a VA loan, typically the VA allows you to borrow up to a certain loan amount based on that entitlement figure. But just as recent as I think December of 21 or 22, VA now does not have any loan limits if you're borrowing above $144,000. If you're borrowing below that, then it's a certain percentage, and you can talk to your lender about the formula that's used to determine your entitlement in that situation, or the loan amount in that situation. So there's no limit with full entitlement. Just keep in mind, banks have their own rules. So if you're looking for a larger loan amount, let's say you're looking for $1 million loan, that bank may not offer $1 million loans. So you want to check with your bank to make sure that that they're able to offer you 100% financing loans or large high percentage financing loans above a certain amount. Even though VA allows it, maybe that bank doesn't. What also affects your ability to borrow a certain amount of money is anything with changes according to your previous entitlement. So what that means is if you have a VA loan currently, you might not have enough entitlement in order to borrow up to a full amount that you want, right? You might be limited. So let's say you have a $200,000 loan out with the VA, right? There's a certain amount that the VA is guaranteed with that lender. They would protect that lender if there was a default on that money that you have with a VA loan. You could still get another VA loan, but you're limited based on what your entitlement is. So you wouldn't be able to get full entitlement. There's a formula for that. And I can also put in the description how you can determine what your entitlement is based on if you have a loan already with VA, or another way that this could change the amount you could borrow is if you had a defaulted VA loan at one point in time. And that would all be listed on your certificate of eligibility. And you could also use that website that I mentioned to determine, okay, what's my new entitlement amount? So a lot of people think that if they defaulted on a VA loan, they're not able to get another VA loan, and that's wrong. You can, you just have to meet the timeline requirements. And I believe it's 2 years after a foreclosure. But you're limited to exactly how much you can borrow with that entitlement after having a defaulted VA loan. And a lot of people think that you can't have more than one VA loan, and that's wrong too. You can have more than one VA loan. You just have to meet the requirements for the VA loan, obviously. And you're subject to the percentages of what you're able to borrow based on your current entitlement, the current amount that you're able to get with the new loan. So let's talk a little bit about the application process for a VA loan. It's really simple, and this is our process. It might be a little bit different for other banks. So we're going to have you do an online application or a phone application, whichever is easier. We're going to look at your credit, your employment, your income, your assets, and some other information like a couple yes or no questions, and anything that we think is relevant that's going to help determine your eligibility. You're then going to submit documents, right? The certificate of eligibility is an important document that tells you that you're able to get a VA loan. Your income documents, your asset documents, any other various documents, and I spelled that wrong. I'll have to fix that, to support the application. Consultation or pre-approval is the next step, and that's when we're going to go over a VA mortgage game plan, review your payment, your costs and terms, and when you're finished with that consultation, we would like to inevitably get you a pre-approval letter so that you can go shopping and looking for houses and feel confident that you're able to get a VA loan. What are some tips for success? And this really applies to any loan, but when getting a VA loan, you want to make sure you work with an experienced lender, somebody that knows VA guidelines very well, may have closed several different VA loans, have dealt with your specific scenario. The good thing is that I've helped hundreds of people in the VA space, help with VA mortgages. So I'm very experienced with VA loans. Be prepared to submit all the documents that are required for your application, just because this helps speed up the process of getting you pre-approved. And I would say that giving us more information is helpful, right? The more information we have, the better we can prepare you for a game plan and going out and shopping for a home. And not only that, we can make sure that there's going to be no speed bumps down the road, right? The more information we have, the better we can prepare you of what you're going to have to deal with when going under contract and being reviewed by an underwriter who inevitably makes the final review and final decision for approval of your loan. Consider being pre-approved before house hunting to ensure success. I feel like that's a big thing, is a lot of people want to put the cart before the horse and go out and start shopping for homes before knowing exactly what you're up against with a lender in your scenario, what the costs are, how much you need to budget for, what are some out-of-pocket expenses, is there anything else that I have to look out for when doing a VA loan. I feel like that's very important. Get the pre-approval process done first. It'll help you tremendously to make better decisions when you're house hunting. And I feel like the next big thing is communication is key. If you're working with somebody that doesn't get back to you right away, is not clear and giving you, and educating you on details and guidelines and why something works or why something doesn't work, then that company is probably not a good fit for you. I always think that communicating with my clients is one of the most important things to do so that everybody has a clear understanding before they go out and buy a house, that they know everything they need to know from start to finish. So thanks for watching this video. If you thought this was informative, please hit the like button, share if you'd like. If you know anybody else that would, like to talk to me about VA loans, or if you know anybody that would find this video helpful, please share this. If you want more helpful videos, hit the notification bell. This way you get notified when I put out some new content. And subscribe to my channel. If you're, in the mortgage space, if you're a real estate agent or you're a buyer and you're thinking about different topics, I'm going to continue to put out content that's relative to the mortgage space and, different programs that are available to you. So here's our contact information. You can write that down. Best way to reach us is either by phone, email to myloanteam@acremortgage.com, or you can apply directly at www.acreloans.com. Thank you for watching this video.